I weighed 153 pounds today. Can you believe it? Oh my gosh. Yesterday, I was 151.6. I jumped up 1.4 pounds in one day. It had to have been the pizza, I swear to you. Ugh, so disappointed. I could explode, but I'm not going to. Instead, I'm going to go through what I ate today. So let's get started. First thing I had today, I had the epic pastry. This was a pastry with only 4 grams of net carbs, and it was a protein pastry as well. Cinnamon flavored. Quite good. Warmed in the microwave for 15 seconds, and had a cup of coffee. Oh yeah. Next up, we had something even better. It was 2 keto toasts, 2 eggs, and 4 slices of bacon. Ugh, it was something to die for, let me tell you. Thumbs up on that too. After I ate that, it was time to go to work. And then when I returned home for lunch, I had a turkey and cheese and mayo and mustard and chili and olive sandwich with chicharrones. And the chicharrones had some taco sauce on it and some chamoy on it as well. And I had a sparkling ice beverage, apple cider flavored, provided by my sister. Thumbs up on that. Well, after I had that, later in the day, when I returned home, my mom had prepared some delicious steamed vegetables and chopped up chicken, for which I ate the rest of, with a sparkling ice cranberry flavor. Another big thumbs up there. And those are all the foods I ate today. Alrighty, well, what exercise was done? I think you know the drill now. A whole lot of walking. And a little bit of running. And even some dancing. Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. Alright, I think that's the diet update. Now we can get on to the daily update. So let's get started. Alright, so here's what happened. I got up, and then when I got up, I played some more of my Zelda game, and that was a whole lot of fun. I'm currently in the Goron City right now. I've reached this area in the game where all the Gorons are obsessed with this meat, and they can't think about anything else, and they just don't seem to care anymore. It tips me off. Well, I hope that eventually they do care, because, that would be nice. I'm sure if I progress further, they will. Well, anyways, after playing that, I decided to listen to a brand new podcast from Digital Foundry. This was their update on the Steam Deck and their opinions on the technology behind it. Sorry, not the Steam Deck, the Steam Machine. Very cool. I really enjoyed that. And I had my protein pastry, and my coffee to go along with it too. Very good. Afterwards, I was getting quite peckish, so I decided it would be a great idea to use the restroom. And then after I was done using the restroom, I thought it would be a great idea to watch a video about Don Bluth talking about his long and storied career. And after that, I thought it would be a great idea to mess around with Sora 2 by drawing a frame of a drawing and then taking a screenshot of it on my phone, then feeding it through Sora 2 and asking it to make it move, which was pretty fun. And then I thought to talked to my sister as soon as she got up and showed her what I was doing with Sora 2 with animation and seeing what her opinions were on that. We had a long and storied discussion about that. And then, after that, I finally made 2 eggs on toast and 4 slices of bacon with a cup of coffee. It was so good. And then I needed to get dressed. And then I needed to go to work. And then I got to work. And then I did a lot. And then I gave customers carts if they needed carts, and I brought carts into the corral. And then I did 3 hours of front end duties, which ranged from mugging for the customers, doing order takeouts, making sure that there wasn't 2 different orders under the same name with each and every order I received, like I said I was going to do yesterday and that I followed up on today. And then I took my 10-minute break, but holy cow, this was a busy Monday. I honestly don't know what happened to cause it to be so busy. I just think it's probably the holiday season and Thanksgiving's coming up, and people are just ramping up their Thanksgiving celebrations by going to the store early to get everything they could ever want or need. Or it's just, I don't know, some people have the day off, who knows. Well, anyways, after that, I went on my break where I did some breath work, where I lowered my O2 levels according to the Breath with Sandy guide, and felt pretty good. I give that one a thumbs up. And afterwards, I continued to bag for the customers. Oh yeah, very good. Finally, after I did all of that, it was time to go to home for lunch. And so I went up in a car, drove, but I almost skimmed with someone on my way to home. Like, I was waiting for the cars to pass by and like an intersection till eventually it would seem safe to go, so I went. But then as soon as I was turning, there was a car that was almost skimmed near me, and I had to pause my car so they could pass by so I could continue going along. Can you believe that? So crazy. Sometimes you get some wackiness on the streets of the place I live at. Well, anyways, I drove back home. I greeted my mom and my sister. My sister fed our cats, 2 of them actually, Calmy and Avery, and I was making a sandwich with the chicharrones, with the chamoy, and the spicy taco sauce. My sister asked if it'd be cool if, when she went out to get a beverage out from the back room, if I could ask for if I was interested in something. I said, yes, please, the cider. She came back with a cranberry. I was like, this isn't cranberry, it's cider. She's like, oh, sorry. So she went back into the back and got the cider. I was very grateful for that. Oh, yes. Mm-hmm. And then I ate the cheese rolls, and then I drank the ice, and it was awesome. And yeah, I liked it. So eventually, when I was done with that, as I was eating that, I was listening to a DF Retro Super Show podcast with our boys from Digital Foundry and some extra people in there. And we're talking about impressive graphics in video games. It was very cool. From the scrolling skies in Quake to the excellent water physics in Baldur's Gate 2 Dark Alliance on PS2. I think that's what it was. I'm not 100% sure. To 3D rendered visuals, FMVs that were interactable in old video games back in the early 90s when that technology was brand new. It was all very inspiring. Well, after watching that, I wanted some toast with butter and some sunflower seed butter on there. So I made that with a cup of coffee, and I had that while I was finishing the video. And then I needed to go back to work, so I said goodbye to my mom, my sister. Throughout my time eating, my mom was trying to buy something. She was having a difficult time, but it was pretty interesting. So, anyways, I drove back to work, and when I eventually got back to work, man, oh man, it was absolutely crazy. And the reason why was because one of our GMs was out doing lot, but the previous person who was supposed to do lot did not do a very good job. So they asked me to come in to help. So that's exactly what I did. I came out there and I pushed those carts in the rainy weather, and I was like, whoa, this is super rainy, but I'm going to do my best. And so I did do my best. So I helped clear a lot out, and then I needed to do sweeps, so I punched in my sweeps, and then I backed, punched in my sweeps again, and then I was in the front end outside to help take out the trash. Trash was starting to spill. Fluids were going everywhere, so I had to double bag the trash bags. And then I had to wipe down the fluids that were on the floor so no one would trip. And then, finally, I brought them all into the back and threw them all out. I brought in 3 boxes of paper bags out into the front, or not really boxes, but paper bags wrapped in paper bag, which is kind of interesting when you think about it. And then I filled all of the check stands up with as many paper bags as I could get my hands on. Oh yes. And then, once all of that was done, it was then time to clear lot, and then I punched out. I said goodbye to all my coworkers and my managers, and then I drove home, where a hot and delicious steamed vegetables and meat, or I guess chicken, was waiting for me, made by my mom, which was awesome. And after I was done eating that awesome meal, while finishing up the DF Retro Super Show and having a sparkling iced beverage, cranberry flavored, me and my mom said goodnight to each other. She left, and then I decided to go on my PSVR 2 and watch a previously recorded, which was a old video game centric show hosted by Rich Evans and Jack Picard. They were talking about the game. Oh man, what was it called again? I'm forgetting the name of it. The one that's basically a ripoff of Starship Troopers, in all but name only. So they were talking about that one, the first one, not the second one, which was a more popular game. And then after that, I was on a cartoon music video binge. It's kind of fun watching music videos in that headset, even if the image quality isn't exactly the best. It's very dirty, grimy looking image quality, if I'm being honest with you. But, you know, it was still fun in a way. And then, after all of that, I then decided it would be an exceptional idea to watch various different trailers. Well, not trailers, but I found out that the new Toy Story 5 teaser was coming out. I gotta be honest, I did not watch Toy Story 4. I thought the franchise ended perfectly with the third entry, and I thought that making any more after that would just be pretty much a huge blast in the legacy of the Toy Story franchise. I just think it would be sacrilegious. So I didn't check it out. Although from what I've heard, it's actually okay, but I don't know. I just don't feel compelled to watch the fourth one at all. But they're making a fifth one because I guess all of Pixar's most recent original films haven't exactly, exploded in popularity. What they've got Luca, Turning Red, um, what was it? Onward, um, Soul, Elemental, uh, yeah, what was that alien movie? Elio, yeah, that one. They haven't really been doing gangbusters. Haven't really set the world on fire. Probably has something to do with the fact that they like are make the main characters children now, and I think most like of Pixar's previous works, like I think they were able to touch like be more touching for a wide range of audience members because they appeal to everyone. Like Toy Story, like the main characters, even though they're like inanimate objects, they're like basically uh, Tom Hanks and Tim Allen, you know, or like robots, you know, with Wally, or Old Man and Kid with Up, or Rat uh, and loser guy with Ratatouille, or Family with incredible. Notice how a lot of their original stuff from back in the day when Pixar was fresh face was more contrasty. Like it felt like there was different like personalities or different unique forces clashing or combining together. And I feel like a lot of the more modern Pixar films like are too childish. Like they feel like they're, I don't know, like they need to appeal to children more, so they need to be about children or something. I'm not exactly sure what they're thinking. Like I feel like the whole Pixar thing up to a point was what if X had feelings, and now it's like, ooh, what if we just make coming of age stories for children now? And it's an interesting era, but at the same time, I'm not exactly sure that's what a wider audiences want. Like a lot of people have complained that modern Pixar movies just feel like trauma dumps by like a lot of the staff that's currently working there, like where they decided not, instead of going to therapy to work out a lot of their like childhood trauma, and instead like bring solid like good entertaining stories to the masses with their Pixar outings. Instead, they decided to take their filmmaking and make that their therapy. And so that's why you get a lot of these like films that feel more like therapy sessions instead of like, actual entertainment or something. I mean, whoa, okay, that's being way too harsh. But what I mean is like, probably still good. Um, okay, to be honest, I haven't seen Turning Red, so I can't say anything about that one. I haven't seen Elio. I can't say anything about that one. I have seen Luca. Meh. I wasn't blown away by that one. I thought it was okay, I guess. A little too fast paced. I saw Onward. Meh. That one was okay, I guess, but again, a little too fast paced and didn't really set like my world on fire. And I saw what was another one I watched? Man, I'm forgetting. Hmm. Yeah. I just. Oh yeah, Elemental. I watched Elemental. Yeah, that one was so meh that like I forgot I even watched until I started to try to rummage through my brain to see if I even saw that one. Like, I mean, these movies got talented artists working on them. They've got people that really deeply care about like you know, their passion, and they want to share that, and that's awesome. But I don't know. I feel like the movies were just more appealing to a lot more people back then, and now like they're trying to appeal to certain types of like audience members, like people dealing with their like issues. Like, yeah, I get that, and while that's great, that really doesn't appeal to a whole lot of people. It appeals to smaller people, smaller portions. So I don't know, maybe. But then again, like I guess like you could make the argument, but the whole point of like good storytelling is for the artist to put themselves in there to really make it their own, you know. So I mean, it's an interesting dilemma. I guess it's like a balance. You gotta find a way to make something that like is widely appealing, but also still retains your identity. It's a really unique struggle and a really unique thing to balance. But yeah. Well, anyways, I think I've gone on long enough for that. But anyways, Toy Story 5 teaser. I know Andrew Stanton, the guy who did Finding Nemo, Wall-E, and Finding Dory, is directing this one. Yeah. And this movie looks like it's pretty much what. Oh. This movie looks like it's going to be like, oh, technology, toys are history. No one plays with toys anymore. They only want to go on their tablets now. And so they're going to make the movie about like technology versus toys, which, I guess that's an interesting direction to take this franchise. I mean, let's be real. When was the last time like you saw a kid like play with their toys? I don't know. I don't really know. I don't hang out with any kids, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, that is an interesting concept for this franchise to tackle, and I guess we'll see how it goes. The most interesting thing to me about this trailer was the drastic improvement in visuals. I feel like the franchise is just like, or this series is pretty much like amped up its visual quality, its fidelity. And if you go back to the first two Toy Stories and compare them to this trailer, you're like, whoa, look at those textures. That's insane. So I guess that's kind of interesting. But the fact that someone like Andrew Stanton's doing this movie is also interesting too. Like, I think it's kind of weird how like he went from making an original film that like was about like a dad trying to find his son all across the ocean. Then he went over to making like a movie about like a robot stuck on a trash planet that decides to go on board a spaceship and then finds what's going on with humanity in the far-flung future and how humanity's kind of become basically let go of itself. And then he did the sequel to Finding Nemo, Finding Dory, which was a exploration of Dory's character, which I think was kind of interesting. I mean, the whole point of Dory in the original was to be like a comedy relief, so the fact that they took Dory's like comedic thing of having short-term memory loss, which was clearly supposed to be meant to be some sort of like punchline or joke in the first movie, and treat that with more of a seriousness in the second movie. I could totally see why they did that. They wanted to give the film more meat. They wanted to make it feel more like a substantial like film by making Dory the main character and really exploring her and all. I don't know. It kind of makes you feel bad about like laughing at her misunderstandings in the first movie though, because you're like, oh wow, they developed her and tried to give her more character in this one, and now like they take the thing that was supposed to be a comedy relief and they explore that and try to make you really sympathize and like see the world through her eyes. And then when you just realize, ooh, this is a sad thing to have, wow. it kind of like, I don't know, in retrospect it makes her antics in Finding Nemo seem more sad, I guess, or less silly. It was an interesting direction to take the franchise, I guess we'll just say that. So he's doing this movie, which is interesting because I know like that Andrew Stanton started working at Pixar on the first like Toy Story and the second, and he proved that he could like really be trusted as being like put in the director's seat and make like his own big feature film, which is why he was put in charge of Finding Nemo. So he clearly, like, has a good knack for storytelling, I think. Um, but the idea of making it about, like, oh, toys against tablets is, I don't know, it feels like such a, like, ooh, I'm old man, and them kids with their electronics, and they need to use their real imagination instead of going on Roblox, like, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how this movie will come across. Like, will it be like, oh, old man yelling at clouds kind of movie where, like, someone, like, out of touch who doesn't really, like, understand how, like, children interact with this technology is trying to put his idea on it, or is it maybe I know I understand, like, is like a father, so he's got, like, direct, like, like, understanding of, like, that world, maybe. So perhaps, like, because he does have that direct understanding, he'll be able to tell that story in a more authentic way, because the classic saying, write what you know. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this all ends up coming together. But like I said, like, I don't even know if I'm going to watch it. I mean, I might watch it for Andrew Stanton because I liked Finding Nemo and I like WALL-E, but at the same time, like, it's an unnecessary sequel to a franchise that should have ended at number 3. So I don't know. I mean, if they're gonna make another one, I guess this is an interesting direction to take it, I suppose. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to say about it right now. Um, yeah, after watching that, I was like, okay, I'm gonna play some Spider-Man on my PS5. And when I was playing that game, I was honestly, like, blown away by how good that game still looks now. Like, there are games that are coming out in the year 2025, and I look at them and I'm like, this looks like garbage. And then I look at Spider-Man, which was originally a PS4 game, but then they, like, remastered it for the PS5. And then I'm looking at this, I'm like, what the heck? How did they make this look so good? And it's like, yeah, it's like one of those games that still holds up, like, way after it just came out, like, it's like incredibly impressive, honestly. Like, I'm blown away every time I see it. But yeah. But then the battery for my headphones ran out. Oh, by the way, I took off my headset after a while because it was, like, really weighing around here on my head. And I just watched, like, the TV screen like normal. And yeah. And when I was done with Spider-Man, I put it away. And I was like, oh, I should make my update video. So here it is. And that's pretty much it. Thank you for tuning in to this exciting new episode of my life, and I will see you in the next one. Oh, and by the way, tomorrow's cheat day, so I'm super excited to see what's going to be chomped on. And also, tomorrow is my sister's birthday, which we're going to be celebrating, so that's going to be a lot of fun too. All right, good night, everybody, and take care. Bye-bye.